With the 2025 NFL Draft behind us, I thought it would be a good idea to take a look at the New York Giants roster and the players that were on the roster prior to the NFL Draft and tell you who I think the winners and losers are following the picks that Joe Schoen made, with the rookies being added to this roster. First, though, I want to say thank you to the 3,807 people that have subscribed to Giants Now over the last 28 days. Major shout out to y'all. But join the Noti gang as well, because I don't want you to ever miss a video. I know there's a lot of people that are subscribed that do not have their notifications turned on. So go down right now, subscribe if you're not, hit the bell icon, select all, and let's go. Welcome into New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Let's dive into it. My biggest winners and losers following the NFL Draft of players that were already on the roster. Look, nobody on the Giants is a loser, so don't take it too literally. It's just the name of the segment. The people that I think benefited from the people that were picked and the people that maybe didn't benefit so much. And let's start with a winner on the offensive line, and that is Evan Neal. I believe Evan Neal greatly benefited from the draft that the New York Giants had because they didn't add a guard, at least early in the draft. And the Giants are saying that Marcus Bowe is going to be a tackle, which means that Evan Neal could potentially be the right guard for this team next year. We all expect for Greg Van Roten to be that guy. But I think there is a path where Evan Neal can compete for that spot, and the New York Giants may give him a runway to do so, because they want to give their 7th overall pick one more chance to be that guy. I went and took a screenshot of the write-up and the transcription of the Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll press conference following the draft. And Joe Schoen said, we are not going to exercise Evan Neal's 5th-year option, which could make him a loser. But I believe because the picks the Giants made or did not make, there's an opportunity for him to play. The second one was, now that you're through the draft, what position is Evan Neal primarily going to be working at? Daboll says, we haven't been on the practice field yet. We have an idea of what we're going to do, but it'll be flexible. He'll do anything he can to help this team. And I believe this is what the Giants' offensive line depth chart looks like at this point. Same starting 5 as last year. Andrew Thomas, John Runyon, John Michael Schmitz, Greg Van Roten, and Jermaine Illuminor. But he signed 2 swing tackles in James Hudson and Stone Forsythe. Maybe those guys will compete to make this roster, with Marcus Bowe potentially being a backup right tackle. You brought back Aaron Stinney and other moves as well. And as you saw, Evan Neal, in that graphic at least, things can change. That's not an official depth chart. He'd be the next guy up. Injuries happen. We saw that there could be positional flexibility for Greg Van Roten. So I think the Giants not adding a guard or a tackle early in this class gives Evan Neal at least a little bit of a chance to remain on this team and to potentially play some football. I think Wan'Dale Robinson was also a major winner for the New York Giants as well. Robinson is going to be a free agent following this season. And the New York Giants did not add a slot receiver, which means they didn't really add any competition for him, which means he's going to be the starter. And he's got another chance to prove that he could be that guy. Last year, 93 receptions for 699 yards. Way too many catches and not nearly enough yards. I wonder a little bit if he's the best fit with a guy like Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston because they want to air the ball out. But if you're Wan'Dale Robinson, you know you're walking into camp as that starting slot receiver. And there's not really any competition behind you. Maybe the Giants go out and sign a veteran that can compete with him, but I don't even know who the second slot receiver would be on this team. Well, Jordan Humphrey's an outside guy. Jalen Hyatt's not a slot. Like, Zach Pascal didn't have a catch last year as a special team specialist. Like, you're the only good slot receiver on this team. And with no competition and you being in a contract year, you had an opportunity to, 1, earn the big bucks, and 2, show Joe Schoen that you should be a part of this team for the long term. The biggest winner of the draft, though, for the New York Giants was Dexter Lawrence. Joe Schoen said it time and time again. There's always 4 hands on Dexter Lawrence. But when you go out and you add a guy like Darius Alexander, who could give you some pass rush juice from inside the defensive line, and you go out and you select Abdul with the number 3 overall pick, the best pass rusher in this class, teams can't solely just say, if we block Lawrence and block Burns, we're going to be good. Because now you got to block Carter. And you got to block Alexander. Oh, and you still have to block Kayvon Thibodeaux. And Chauncey Golston gives the Giants some depth on the edge as well. You have 6 guys that can get after the quarterback. Good luck putting 2 people on Dexter Lawrence. Because if you do, it means Brian Burns is getting single team. It means Kayvon Thibodeaux and Abdul Carter and Darius Alexander getting single team. Dexter Lawrence, this might be your easiest NFL season yet. I think John Michael Schmitz is another big NFL draft winner for the New York Giants for a similar reason as Wan'Dale Robinson and a similar reason as Evan Neal. The Giants didn't add a center in this class. There's been thought that Marcus Bowe could play guard or center, and he told the Giants media that he thinks he could be successful at any position he plays on the offensive line. But heading into your 3rd year, which I would say has somewhat been a disappointing start to your career, you're walking into camp as a starter again. There's no real competition. And you got a chance in your 3rd year to show that you could be the starting center of the future. If you don't after year 3, the Giants are going to have to make some major moves to go and maybe change their ideas and get some depth and a legitimate veteran center. But right now, you're a big draft winner, post-draft winner for me, as is Brian Daboll, the head coach of the New York Football Giants. Because your football team just got a lot better. And even if you go back to free agency, your football team got a lot better. And as the head coach, you should always be happy when you add more talent. Because more talent most likely means more wins. And more wins equals more job security. And Brian Daboll doesn't have a lot of that. But most importantly, you got to handpick your quarterback. I'm sure you want a Cam Ward. I get it. But every report says that you want a Jaxson Dart second. And Jaxson Dart was your guy. And Joe Schoen went and got your guy. Which means there's no more excuses. Hopefully, John Mara's not an idiot and fires you after 1 year after you just got to pick the quarterback of the future. I think Brian Daboll should be given 2 years no matter what. But I think he's a huge winner. His job security, I think, is much better. His football team is much better. And this organization still has the belief in you to let you still hand select your quarterback. Those are my 5 biggest draft winners. There are still a lot left. Hopefully, we got a lot of winning Sundays and a lot of winning Mondays, maybe even Thursdays this year. If you want the Giants back in the playoffs, hit that thumbs up icon. Let's get to over 1,000 likes on today's video. We'd really appreciate it. Alrighty, so post-draft losers. Again, nobody's a loser. Just the name of a segment, and I'm trying to figure out how some draft picks maybe affect some players on the roster. And the first name that came up to me was Kayvon Thibodeaux. And look, Kayvon is a good player. I thought he played honestly well last year before the injuries. And I thought he played well after the injuries. But the facts are the facts. The New York Giants are paying Brian Burns $150 million. The New York Giants just used the 3rd overall pick as an edge rusher. That's 2 players the Giants have made major investments at your position. Yes, they picked up your 5th-year option, which means you're on the football team for this year and next year. I just don't know if it's financially correct to pay Brian Burns $150 million, Abdul Carter his amount of money and the money that's coming down the line, and a big contract for Kayvon Thibodeaux. Look, if he's great and the Giants can keep him awesome, let's have 3 studs that put their hands in the dirt and make life hell for opposing quarterbacks. But just trying to read the writing on the wall. When you draft somebody at your position, number 3 overall, that should put a little spark under yourself. And I think Kayvon Thibodeaux is an extremely smart human being and an extremely talented football player. But there's now a surplus of edges on this team. And there's only so many dollars to go around in a salary cap sport. We'll see what the plans are. I want him to be a Giant, but I don't think it's the most crazy thing in the world to assume that the Giants may let him walk when his contract is over, or down the line they may entertain a trade. Because if Brian Burns and Abdul Carter are who we think they are you going to pay Kayvon Thibodeaux $20+ million per year to be your edge 3? We'll find out. Make sure you are hooked up with our Giants rookies jerseys. We got Jaxson Dart at chatsports.com/Dart, and we got Abdul Carter at chatsports.com/Carter. Dart and Carter are already in the top 10 of selling rookie jerseys. Let's get them up to number 1. Chatsports.com/Carter, chatsports.com/Dart. Support our guys. No, they're not wearing number 1. Once they choose a number, those jerseys will be sold out. or sent out, excuse me. And they will be sold out as well. Devin Singletary is a draft loser for me. The Giants went out and added Tyrone Tracy last year, and he was awesome as a rookie. Then the Giants went out and they added Cam Skattebo this year, which I think makes Devin Singletary your RB3, and his time as a Giant may be coming to a close. I also think that Eric Gray is a major draft loser as well. Gray, a bigger draft loser than Singletary, but I think we could see Singletary's carries cut significantly because I think Cam Skattebo is going to get carries as a rookie, and he should. And I'm not sure the Giants are going to spread carries among three backs all that consistently. I think Singletary should be RB3, Skattebo and Tracy should be 1A and 1B. I think Daniel Bellinger is also a post-draft loser. I think there's a world where Daniel Bellinger doesn't make this football team. There was chatter last year that he was not going to make this football team. You brought back Chris Manhertz. You went out and you drafted Fidone in round 7. I'm not saying Fidone's going to make the team, but if you have Theo Johnson, who they drafted last year, you want Chris Manhertz on the team as a blocker. You have Fidone. You brought in Greg Dulcich as well, who has a good connection with Russell Wilson. I'm not going to be shocked if Belly does not make this football team next year. I think there's talent. I think there's a role on this team that he could thrive in, which is reading the room. He's going to need to have a big offseason if he wants to remain on this football team. And Raheem Nunez-Roches is also a loser for me. He was coming into this season, if you didn't add a D tackle, as a starter, and that's just not going to be the case anymore, and nor should it be the case. The Giants also added 2 defensive tackles in free agency, and Jeremiah Ledbetter and Roy Robertson Harris. You make a priority pick at 65 in Darius Alexander, which I think pushes Raheem Nunez-Roches a little bit down the depth chart. Maybe he's a cut candidate. I don't think he will, but I don't think he's going to, even if he makes the team, has nearly as many snaps under his belt when the season ends. So for that, I'm going to say the Nunez-Roches. Shout out to Nacho is unfortunately a post-draft loser. Major shout out to everybody that watches this show. You guys are winners. As is everybody on the Giants. They're millionaires, and they're not losers. So don't take it to heart. Don't be the loser in the comment section that gets weird about it. Give me a follow on Twitter. Give me a follow on IG. Same handle on both sites, at @MarshallGreen_. If you haven't yet, hit that thumbs up icon on your way out. Subscribe. Turn those notifications on, and we'll be back on the channel with another video tomorrow or later today, whenever you're watching it. Multiple videos every day. We'll see you later. Let's go Giants.